Hello, 22 Tony here with my latest discussion on collecting vintage and antique ammo. Let's say you go to a garage sale or a flea market or a gun show and you score a nice variety of older ammunition. Now what's next? Well, those of you that have seen my previous videos know that kind of an underlying theme in all of my videos has been education and history. So now you've come home with a selection of cartridges, and what's the next step? You want to learn a little bit about these cartridges. That's what collecting's all about. So many of us might immediately think of the internet. And the internet's certainly a good place to do research. As we all know, everything on the internet is true. Well, no, not completely, but there is a wealth of knowledge available on the internet. But I like to look for another source for information. Why not go to the actual manufacturer? Part of collecting is learning about the subject, and what a better place than the brochures that were put out by the manufacturers over the years. This particular is a 1947 Western Ammunition Handbook, and one of the things I like best in it is I opened it up when I first got it and started flipping through, and I saw the Supermatch 22, and then I saw kant-splash. Probably most of you have never even heard of kant-splash cartridges. These were low power 22 shells used for indoor shooting, and such the name kant-splash. They no ricochet. So it's pretty interesting. You know, it only takes a few minutes to flip through the catalog, but you might find some amazing information in here. Well, then, these brochures have been available for many years. So I picked through a few of the ones that I found here, and I happened to pull out this 1979, and being that I'm interested in 22, I wanted to see what was available in 1979. And you can see there was an entire page in the Winchester Western Handbook on Expediter. Now, most of you know that Expediter wasn't a real super popular line, and it didn't last very long, so let's kind of look at the history a little bit. So I went to the 1975 catalog. So here's my 1975 Winchester Western, and if we go to the 22 page, Expediter's not even listed. So well, that's how long after 1979. So I happen to have a 1981 Winchester Western. And again, same thing. I'm going to go to the 22 page. And as you can see, Expediter's not even listed. So this is one of the things that kind of gives me an area to start doing some research. So now I know that it was available in 1979, and it was not available in 1975, and it was not available in 1981, at least not listed. So that gives me a place to start my research. Now another thing that you can get out of these old brochures, here's a Remington. This one, I didn't find a date in it, but it's around 1967, 1968, somewhere in that range. Well, how do I know that? It advertises our new Remington 580. 588, 581, and 582. The Remington 580, 581, 582 came out in 1967. So I know that this is a late 1960s because it mentions that those are new. Now, one of the things that I got out of this, got some very nice advertising, gives you some ideas on the different cartridges that were available at the time. But it also has some ballistics information in here that is very valuable to a collector. So part of collecting is more than just the cartridges themselves, it's the history that's involved. And these old brochures are a great way to get started. Now these brochures can be very pricey. The older ones, when you start getting into the early part of the 20th century up through the 30s, these catalogs can go for literally hundreds of dollars. Most of them from the 20s and 30s. You're probably looking on the internet, well, $20 to $40 per catalog. But that doesn't mean you have to pay that price. If you watch at your local flea markets, auction houses, garage sales, you can usually find, these 60s and 70s and 80s for $1 or $2 a piece. they're available. They're not particularly uncommon. They're you know, not something that you find every day, but they are available. If you buy them online, again, there's the price is going to be a little bit higher generally online than what you would pay at a garage sale. Now, another way to get some information about your new cartridges would be things like advertisement. This 1930s advertisement has some information about Western Super X. Plus, it's very interesting. The graphics are nice, and it displays nicely. As you can see, I've got it framed, and it actually sits on my desk in a letter holder that I don't put letters in anymore. So I have a 1930s advertisement. There are even comic books that will have information about your old cartridges. So as always, I was just hoping to give you a little bit of information, give you some ideas on where to start your search. And if you do come across some new cartridges and you're not familiar and you want to find out more about them, please pick up some local or your manufacturer's brochures. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you got some ideas out of it. Please feel free to share, and I hope you watch my other videos as well. Thanks, and bye.